look out the balcony, or from the living room, you look out onto the water, you see 80% water, but there is a 20% sliver where it overlooks a courtyard / parking lot. In today's video, how much is a waterfront view worth in downtown Toronto or in general, and how much does it add to the value of a condominium unit? Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my office, my Gmail, and my Instagram. Furthermore, feel free to subscribe, comment, and like this video. Your support in that regard is much appreciated if you find the content I make informative. If not, feel free to do the opposite. You don't have to subscribe. You can actually unsubscribe. Let's get to the point of today's video, which is waterfront views. How much is it really worth? How much does it add to the value of a condominium? If there's a unit that has waterfront views and there's a very comparable unit that doesn't, how much do we account for the one that does? How much do we add on to the price? How much should you pay for one? And obviously it's not like an on and off button, right? There's a spectrum. You might have a view of the CN Tower, but you get part of the CN Tower, whereas another unit owner has the entirety of the CN Tower. Similarly, on the negative side of the spectrum, certain units have a very bad view. All you see when you look out the windows is the back alley of a commercial or industrial space, whereas other units only have half of a back alley. The remainder is just, cityscape or street. Hypothetically, you can have a unit where half of the view is bad, half of the view is good, right? Now, in today's video, we're particularly looking at waterfront views. And much like other aspects, this adds value to your unit. Building upon what I just said, there are different types of waterfront views. For instance, my own listings downtown, I have one condo for sale where if you look out the balcony or from the living room, you look out onto the water, you see 80% water, but there is a 20% sliver where it overlooks a courtyard / parking lot. Let's get into the numbers now. For the numbers, I went through data of units that sold in the last month in the waterfront community. So it's a very specific neighborhood in C1 downtown. And if you want to start by calculating and deducing how much a waterfront view is worth, it's probably best to start with a community named Waterfront Communities. So I did as such. I went through units that sold with waterfront views versus units in that building or in adjacent buildings that were comparable in every other way except for the view. So for instance, the ones with the waterfront views, when I went through my data, had a southern exposure. They looked onto the south with waterfront views, and the comparables, which I compared these southern exposed waterfront view units, were the same in every single way in terms of bedroom, number of washrooms, square footage, ceiling height, everything exactly the same, but they had western or eastern or northern exposure. So the only variable that was different in these comparisons of these units was the waterfront views. And obviously I did not look at asking prices, I looked at sold prices. Although the waterfront views were also accounted for and built into the asking price as well, if the real estate agent knew what they were doing whatsoever. So how much is a waterfront view worth? Well, according to the numbers and these comparables, we can put the worth and value of a waterfront view anywhere from $13,000 to $19,000. On the lower end of the range, you have those obstructed views, wherein you do have the waterfront, but there's some of the parking lot. Maybe there is a building in front of the waterfront. So you have the waterfront, but you also have a building that's obstructing that view. You just don't have a full waterfront view. And obviously, as you go higher to the middle, the less obstructed the view is. And one can assume on the higher end towards $19,000, you have fully free waterfront views. Now, these views are kind of rare. You more so have them in the Harbor Square buildings right on waterfront or Harbor Streets or Queens Quay. Obviously, if you're looking at a unit that has waterfront views, but maybe it's on Fort York, it's a bit further, you still see the water, but you mostly see, parks and such. Those are less likely to have the fully unobstructed views. We had 2 units on Queens Quay in the same exact building on the same exact floor. And this is the best one-by-one comparison I found. Both were 800 to 899 square feet. Both were 1+1s with one full washroom. Moreover, both had parking spots, which, as you know from my previous video, also adds a ton of value, more so than the views actually. However, one had southern exposure, the other one had southwest exposure. And in the southwest, it did not have much of the waterfront. The unit with the waterfront views sold for $687,000, and the unit without the waterfront views sold for $669,000. As you can see, a difference of $18,000. And other examples I found where I had to do other deductions and other additions because they're, they weren't exactly the same. They were in the range, but maybe one was like, a little bit bigger than the other one, or one had, one was on the 15th floor, the other one was on the 8th floor, whatever it may be. That's why I gave the range of 13 to 19,000. And also depends, as I aforementionedly said, to the type of waterfront view you have. Is it fully obstructed? Is it fully unobstructed? How much of the water do you truly get in the view? Anyways, I hope this was informative for you. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or get in touch via Gmail or Instagram. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box. And subscribe, comment, and like if you happen to enjoy these videos. Thank you very much for watching, and stay in touch. Thank you.